Hello, this is Richard Martindale with our Martindale Digital. I am here on our live stream broadcast today, and I want to first of all just thank you for joining me on this live stream broadcast. It is Monday, April 20th, and today I am happy to announce that we're going to be summarizing what we've covered in the last three broadcasts about how you can find legal clients today. But I'm more excited about the fact that I'm going to be giving you some resources that you can use in your law firm right now where you can implement these three tips that I've given you over the last few days. So let's just dive right in and start with the summary of what's happened and what we've covered over the last three live streams. Now, if you look, first of all, at tip number one, we talked about with tip number one that you want to reach out to your current clients. You want to understand, what's going on, gives you an opportunity during this crisis to be able to show your clients that you care, and you can also solve problems and answer questions for them. And when you're doing that, you can ask them for referrals. Hey, do you know anybody else who's in your situation who might need some help or might need some help with these issues or these problems? So it gives you an opportunity, one, to touch base with your clients, and two, just to ask for referrals and potentially get new business. So that was tip number one that we covered in a live stream last week. If you didn't see the whole thing, please go back and find it on YouTube or on our Facebook page. Search for Martindale Digital on Facebook and you can find it. Give us a like and give us some comments there. Then we covered in tip number two, it was going back through old leads. So leads that you might have gotten in, maybe business cards, maybe you filed them in a Rolodex, maybe you just put them into the trash can and there you've got the picture here of that raccoon. Hopefully you won't find that when you're going back through your trash can or your old leads. But go back through those old leads, see what you can find, maybe that you didn't follow up with, or maybe you just forgot to contact them. See if there's somebody out there that needs help that you can follow up with. We also talked about on that broadcast the need to have an electronic database, somewhere where you're housing these leads as they come in on an electronic method that's also going to allow you to easily and automatically, if you have the right systems, follow up with leads as they come in so they don't get lost in the shuffle in the future. As we talked about in that broadcast, the fortune is in the follow-up. So make sure as you're putting out the marketing efforts to get leads into your law firm, you want to make sure that you're following up with those leads and you have a great system to follow up with those people, and that you will always be following up over and over. Sometimes it may take 7, 8, 9, 20 contacts, who knows? But have a system where it's happening automatically, and then you're going to be able to easily stay in touch with those leads as they come in, follow up with them, and turn them into new business. Then in tip number three, what we talked about was basically leveraging the time and effort that you're putting into your marketing with congregations. As we talked about, there are millions of people and even billions of people who are online and using platforms and congregations like Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. And you want to be leveraging those existing congregations where people are already there talking about professional topics, talking about issues that may be relevant to your legal practice. Leverage those and forget the old way of marketing where you were doing one-to-one contacts, following up with just one person, hoping that one person might turn into a client. But do marketing to the masses. So one to many, and this new way of getting into those congregations, like we talked about on the broadcast, it's like a stream and a rushing river. Those are the two contrasts. You've got a dry stream where it's one-to-one and hopefully you're making some headway, but go in front of the masses. Deal with the congregations where you're in the middle of a rushing river of leads coming at you, and you need to add value to those congregations and then attract new clients back to you. So that was tip number three. If you missed any of those broadcasts, please go back to our Facebook page. You can find them on my LinkedIn profile or our LinkedIn page for business, even on my Twitter, or just find them on my Facebook page. Those are great places to go and look at those old broadcasts, watch each one of them. But I'm going to give you a special link here at the end that will give you one place where you can go, not only to see all the broadcasts, but also to get the resources that I'm going to give you with regard to how to implement these tips. And that's when we get to the good stuff. So the question may be, all right, Richard, you've given me some great tips on how to find new clients now, but how do I do what you're telling me to do? You know, get that question. It's like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Well, my response is that Mr. or Mrs. Attorney, Martindale Digital is here to help you. And I'm going to help you today by providing you some great resources if you stay to the end of this broadcast. And it's going to be resources that you can implement today in order to start carrying out these tips that I've been giving you and carrying them out for your law firm and your legal practice. But before we get to those resources, let me tell you a story about crisis. You see, we're in the middle of a crisis right now. A lot of people are at home. People are getting sick. People are exposed to this virus and dying. I understand how a crisis can cause people to have setbacks. Maybe your business, your law firm is suffering right now. Your doors are closed. You can't go into the office. Maybe you have, employees who work for you. They're staying home. You don't really know what's going on. And I understand crisis, and it's human to have fear, have some anxiety, but think about, are you going to use this time to move forward, or are you going to let it paralyze you and have a setback? Well, a story about 18 years ago, it was an early morning, and I got onto a bus. I was working for a law firm in Washington, D.C. at the time, and took that bus to a metro station for the metro train in Washington, D.C. It was really early in the morning that day because I had a brief that was due, and I had to get in early to get it finished, make sure, put those final polishing touches on it, the finishing touches, and get that brief filed in federal court that day. Took the train into my office. As you'll see here in the picture, office kind of looked like that. I had a very small window in my office, so it wasn't as big as the picture there. But I was working on that brief early in the morning, and my executive assistant, she had come in as well to help me. And she comes and knocks at my door. And she had a radio. There were radios back then. She had a radio by her desk, and she was listening to the news. And she said, "Richard, it sounds like something's going on. I'm not sure what's going on here in DC." And I said, "Really?" I said, "Why don't you go listen a little bit more, see what's going on?" So she went back out. A few minutes later, she came over. She goes, "Yeah, there's some reports of some really weird things that are going on out there." And I remembered the time that we had a health and fitness area down in the basement of our building for our law firm. And I told her, I said, "Why don't you run down there, turn on one of the TVs, see what's going on?" She comes back up about 15 minutes later. And of course, it was September 11th, 2001. It causes me a little bit of just anxiety even thinking about it. But the metro that I had gone through that morning was the Pentagon. And yes, the attack had just happened in Washington, and it was a crisis like none other. It was something that shook us through the whole firm. We came together in a conference room and talked about what to do. We said, don't cross bridges, don't get back on the metro, don't get on a bus. So we all went to our head partner's house who lived a few blocks away, but my wife was home that day, and she was 8 months pregnant with my son, and she couldn't get in touch with me. I got into a car with a couple of my partners, and we headed towards the house. Tried my cell phone, it didn't work. Traffic obviously was crazy. Everybody was trying to get to the same place at the same time. Everybody was out of their office. We spent that day in the partner's office, or in the partner's home, watching the coverage. And of course, you know what the result of that day was. But that night, I had to borrow a car from one of my partners and drove home. And I drove past the Pentagon. It was on fire, just like this picture you see here. And, it's a day that I'll never forget. It was a crisis that I lived through, but it helped me to understand today why there's such a need to help those who are suffering. And I want you to know, if you're watching this video, that Martindale Digital is here to help. I want to help those who are in need. That's why we've been doing these live stream broadcasts, to give you tips, to give you an understanding, to help you hopefully get through this crisis and get through this crisis quicker than you otherwise would. So how can I help you? Well, we talked about the other day the referral website, a way that you could potentially put up a page for people to give you referrals. And I want you to understand, if you go to this site, this link that I'm putting up on the screen right now, we are going to give you the ability to have that funnel, basically a funnel or that page. And so if you just take a minute, write down that link. It's www.martdig, so like Martindale Digital, but martdig.com//share referrals. And when you go to that page, let me just stop my screen here for a second, and I will give you a little bit more information about what you will see when you go to that page. So if I can share my screen again, if you'll recall, if you just give me a second real quick and I'll show you. This was the funnel or the page that I told you about. I call it a funnel because it's meant to basically attract leads in and go down and weed through those leads. That's why sometimes in marketing we call it a funnel. But in effect, this is just a single page that you could put up. You don't even need to worry about how to attach it into your website. You can use this page to start getting leads right now. And I want to show you just quickly. You may say, well, Richard, I don't know how to create pages like this. I don't know how to create buttons that move and put logos in. I want to show you how easy this software is. Now, in order to use this page, I want to be clear, you're going to need an account for ClickFunnels. But if you use this page, it's going to, if you click on the link that I'm going to provide to you, it's going to give you a free 14-day free trial of ClickFunnels. So you don't have to worry about paying for software or anything right now. You can try it out for 14 days, see if it even works for you. But I want to show you just an example of how easy this is to use. So this is I'm pulling up on my screen now, the inside of kind of my ClickFunnels account. So you can see this is the page that you would be using, and it's loading the page into its editor. And with ClickFunnels, it is so easy to use because basically, so let's say you can see as I move it around, it pulls up boxes. So it's very easy for you to navigate and use. So if you wanted, for example, to change, this is a logo. If you wanted to put your logo here, it just pops up. When I clicked on that, it pops open a little window, and all you have to do is go into the images, and you can see here, you click on that, you would upload your image, and you can change it to whatever you want, and then you just click add the image. Now I'm going to cancel this out here because I don't want to mess it up. Or if you wanted to, change the color, let's say you change the color of the background, you can go in right here and you can see it says colors, background color. You can change that, and let's say you want it to be yellow. Boom, change it like that. Want it to be red? Boom, change it like that. It is very easy software to use and maneuver and change. So if you wanted to change this headline, you just click right in here, double click on it. You can see it's very easy. Boom, boom, type in exactly what you want. So ClickFunnels is very easy to use. And the good thing is you don't have to incorporate it into your website. You can use this as a standalone page. And the good thing is, so it handles tip number one because it gives your clients a very easy way to be able to give referrals. So all you would have to do is set up this page, put your coloring, your logo in, change the wording if you want. One thing in your jurisdiction, you may not be able to give out a gift card or something like that for a referral. So make sure you're obviously following the ethical rules in your jurisdiction. But you could put up this page, send your clients to that page, and they'd easily be able to give you referrals. Now, so that would handle tip number one. Tip number two is on the back end of ClickFunnels. So let me just save this and exit out. ClickFunnels has the ability to basically do follow-up emails. So you can basically use ClickFunnels and everything that's in it. So here you can see you can create email lists. You can create email broadcasts. So you can basically create a list of clients or referrals and use the system right here that's very easy to use to follow up with leads as they come in. So you can create additional pages in ClickFunnels and use it to follow up with the leads as they come in. So that would handle tip number two. So there are two things right there in this simple resource that would give you the ability to go and get clients today. Now, as you look at this, I also want you to see that this is kind of what you would see if you go to the link that I gave you. This is going to be a page just kind of like the other page, but it was created in ClickFunnels. It's very easy. You go here and it shows you a picture of the referral page that you would get. You enter your name and information in here and you click the button and it's going to take you to another page. But here you can see below, you can also watch the additional broadcast if you didn't get to see any of the different tips that we gave you over the last few days. But once you click in here, it's going to take you to a page and then it's going to automatically send you an email with a link that you're going to be able to download and get this free resource. And as you can see here in the page, we're also going to give you a free ebook that's called 3 Simple Technology Tools that you can use right now to transform your law firm. That's an ebook that will show you how to use these automated systems like ClickFunnels for lead pages, to bring in lead capture systems, to then sign up automatically into a calendar system, and then use Zoom. So those are 3 technology tools that you can easily use, and that's what that ebook will cover. So we're going to give you that as an additional bonus. And if you stay tuned, we're going to give you additional bonuses on the emails. So pay attention to those emails as they're coming out. We're going to give you lots of information to help you implement these 3 tools so you can get law firm clients today. I'm taken back a little bit because of the emotion of discussing this with you from earlier and the kind of the crisis that called back to me. But I want you to understand that, myself and Martindale Digital, we are here to support you as attorneys and law firms. We want you to have the resources that are available and easy to use. I don't want you to have to go out and pay $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 to some marketing agency that's telling you, hey, you need to pay us so we can create all these systems for you. The systems are easy to create if you have the know-how. And that's what we're here to help you with, that know-how. So I want you to take advantage of these resources. Go to that link I provided to you, and let me put it up just one more time so you can see it at the bottom of the screen. That's a link for you to be able to go to and get these resources that are available to you that we're going to provide to you at no cost. Now, just as I said, to use those pages, obviously you're going to need to sign up for the free trial with ClickFunnels. But once you go to that site and you get the email from us, we're going to provide you with a link. It will give you a free 14-day trial if you want to try it out and test it and see how it works. That's all we have for today, and I hope you really enjoyed it. I want you to get through this crisis, and we want to give you some resources to have you be able to get through this crisis easier. Thanks for joining me. If you'll leave some comments below, I would really appreciate it. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you're watching this on YouTube, or like us on Facebook and leave us a comment. We're going to be providing you live streams every day at 5 o'clock Central. So tune in, learn more about how you can enhance your online marketing for your law firm and get the clients that are going to get you through this crisis. Thanks a lot, and I hope you have a blessed day.